Hi Etty, thank you for uploading your pictures, welcome. Really just flicking through, excellent. But let me just give you a couple of words of introduction. So like I said, welcome to Zero to Pro. You made a good decision and you have to now really invest yourself. Each week we've got the homework and the photo shoot, okay? I say this to everybody and it's really important, is the class, when you're sitting online, that gets the information into your head, the homework gets it into your heart, and the photo shoot gets it into your hands, okay? And that's where we need it, in our hands. So the photo shoot is imperative. You did it this way. It looks like from the way you did this, and that the fact is everything is orderly and with correctly numbered. You did everything, so I'm not worried in any way. I think you're going to do amazingly. Just to know the importance of the homework and the photo shoot, that is really where the magic takes place. So make sure that if in the crazy scenario there isn't time, whatever it is, and you have to choose between the photo shoot and the homework, photo shoot, no question, do the photo shoot. But like I said, you have to do both the homework and the photo shoot. Okay, let's jump in. So the first one, triangle, that's great, you've done that. That's clearly a triangle. Ching, ching, ching. What I want you to try and do, which is more, because really anyone could do this. This is very elementary. What I want you to try and do, you can upload it as a bonus picture for next week if you like, is to create a triangle, but in a way that it only exists from one vantage point. Which means if I was to move in a certain way now, if I kind of move myself over here, and what I'm looking at now is the way that my microphone has popped up, and I see with the two screens, it ends up taking the shape of a triangle, which wouldn't exist if I moved from a different place. So the triangle doesn't really exist like a pile of toys in a triangle. It exists from when you move yourself and you align lines and shapes, etc., and you end up with a triangle created that's kind of like an illusionary triangle. You understand? Okay, so try that and you can upload that, but this is obviously clearly well done. Okay, textures, that's great. So one thing to learn from here is that vertical lines are a dynamic, they add dynamic tension to an image. They make an image feel more alive. Okay, horizontal lines make an image feel more relaxed and peaceful. Okay, but vertical lines make the image feel more intense. This is great. This is definitely a texture. The line element is more like a pattern, but there's for sure texture as we zoom in close. Great. Okay, oh, by the way, just noticed that you have a nice camera. Oh, you bought, okay, good, you got a 50mm, that's great. And your stats are actually quite good for what is going on. Are you shooting in, you're in program? Okay, your camera did a good job there. You'll find out, although you've done very well and it actually looks quite sharp, the chances of that are quite slim. But anyway, nice one. Okay, we've got a texture here. That is for sure a texture. Beautiful. Interestingly enough, this texture forms a pattern. In regards to this texture, you have vertical lines. Yeah, but you also have the actual texture it's a hard texture with like a soft element as well. So it's a lot of like we said, there's the lines, vertical lines and horizontal lines are dynamic and passive. So to the textures, you have dynamic textures and you have passive textures. Dynamic textures would be like hard with hard patterns. So let me just, this kind of texture, although it's like a pattern, what we said, they blend in those two words. This kind of texture would be considered a hard texture, and this is actually quite a soft texture, although there are hard lines as well, but there's definitely soft elements. For example, if we crop in here, you will see that that's actually a very soft, relaxing experience. Okay, let's go back. Good, fine, well seen. Let me just get rid of this. Oh no, sorry. Get rid of that. Undo crop. Good. Okay. Good. Pattern reoccurring geometric sequence. Excellent. So too here, very good, well seen. Just remember that this is just such a massive part of photography, like of portrait, family photography, all photography, but especially portrait, family and event photography, is literally trying to find patterns, shapes, textures, using them as the elements in your photography. It's that is really what it's all about. Okay, so just remember that I mentioned it in the class, is always refer back to this class to do the to redo the 1 minute recaps, to go back always to keep this, maybe even to do just to do the 1 minute recaps each week or something, will really help you keeping in mind how I should be thinking when I'm out there actually taking pictures. Okay, good. Perspective, yes, have a perspective. It's a little bit subtle. It would have been nice if you'd come closer, but this is really the perspective. It's a little bit gentle. This doesn't give you any perspective, so you could have cropped in like that. Okay, that's okay. And here also is the perspective is not, the problem is that you've got a 50mm lens. That's your problem. So you can't really do this. There's other benefits. The reason why I recommend this lens is for other benefits, but the downside of it is getting perspective is very difficult. But what you can, unless you've got like a road or something, but what you can do, if you get in as close as you can and maybe turn it in a portrait orientation, that would give you a greater feeling of perspective. Okay, but there is perspective. Okay, good. Balance. Your camera's excellent. Camera's excellent. You focus nicely. Everything's great. Do you see these lines? I would be using this kind of background if I saw this available, if I had a bride with me. Balance is great. I think it's quite a heavy gaze. He's like very much turned, so I think we could crop a little bit off of here. But I like this. It's very like kind of minimal, very kind of what's the word? Modern image. I like that very much. That's great. Just straighten it perfectly. Yeah, this is very well balanced. This is excellently balanced. Let's just show you here. Oh, one more time. Sorry. We go here. So the actual, see, the shape is something like this. The actual energies. It's better to. I should do it with a free hand. 1 second. Let's just redo this. So you come around. That's really, there's an energy going this way, but in the same time the actual triangle is there. Okay, let me just draw that again. The actual triangle of the composition is this, but the actual energies of the composition is more like that. So you've actually really perfectly balanced that. That's a very beautiful, that's very delicately done. Very good. Okay, into your photo shoot. Okay, great. Crop off too much space at the top. Remember, be very exacting with how much space there is in how much extraneous space. This is obviously of very little value when we're looking at this going on here. So cropping close here. And I would try to be, I mean, the stats are insane, but you don't know about the stats at all right now. But that is the reason why you have this kind of horrible noise. But you're aware that that's amazing though, to see how well your camera deals with 16,000 ISO. Thank you for that. Appreciate that. But anyway, cropping close. Make sure that you see where the real image, where the emotion of the image is, and hone in on it. Okay, so leaving that extra space at the top really didn't help anything at all. Okay, this is nice. This is a great shot. I think it'd be better a little bit more room down here. You've got your 50mm lens. You can't do, if you had a wide angle lens, you'd be able to get in close and have like a, but I still recommend this lens. This is a great shot. I really do like this shot. I love these hard like diagonal vertical lines here. Add a lot of energy. It's a great energized picture. Again, I would probably crop a little bit off the top. Maybe we'll take this one into Lightroom. But this is a great shot. I think there's a teeny little bit over there as well. We'll get rid of. 1 second. Excellent. Really a fantastic picture. Really good one. Okay, this is great. This is a great thing to see from the light. See the light on the child's nose, on the hair. The light is coming, it's obviously middle of the day, and the light is coming from high above. The sun is overhead, which means you have to try. This is very unattractive, okay? It's very important to learn from this. This is very unattractive, and it's, at this time of day, it is essential, as basically essential to get your subjects into shade, okay? There's for sure a time and a place to use the sun, but the general, the majority of the pictures should be in shade, okay? Compositionally, it's okay. I would probably go for a more central composition, and again, careful of the space at the top of the image. What happens when somebody starts getting conscious of cropping in close and not using extraneous space is they start to immediately cut off hands and cut off the bottom, hands and feet at the bottom of the page, at the bottom of the canvas. So be careful with that. Okay, it's cute. I think it would be better to have the actual handles in completely, because it'd be a lot of that would add to the texture. We see the David there. It's cute. I think all I would be thinking about is this area here. Again, is irrelevant. If you were to turn it in a portrait orientation, you would just David would be the same size. You would just get more of the Torah in. So I think that's my thoughts on that picture. Okay, great to see you out there taking pictures. This is really good. Okay. So what we would do to just make this is a bit advanced, but I think we're ready to go, is there's a few issues here. He's very far in an extremity of the page, okay, of the canvas. He needs to be moved in closer. Now it's real. We would move her over to here and put his hand, I'm assuming his dad, on her shoulder over here, yeah, and basically we'd end up with a triangle, a clearer triangle. We would get him to move down a little bit lower, have Barbie turn her right shoulder inwards, have this little girl come in closer, Dad would stoop down a little bit, and this little guy we could move in over here, and we could then crop the whole frame lower down, and that means that we would have more space at the bottom of the frame, and then he would be much more within the picture. Okay, this is great though. What I would suggest in this situation, once you've taken this picture, obviously we're not going to ask Zadie here for too many pictures, but to grab these kids from the side and then just take them to the side while you've got your camera and just bounce them around in a bunch of different options. Put the big one in the back with their hands around them, the little ones down, the big one sitting down with the small one standing behind, and do as many combinations until they start getting bored and frustrated and stuff. And then take them back and look at them and analyze them and think, why is this better? Why is that better? And we'll see when you do the posing class, it will come clear. There's a lot to say. We haven't got time to say it all now, but we want generally movement going inwards. Okay. Movement going inwards. We want the heads as close to each other as possible, creating clear shapes, very delineated shapes like you learned with the triangle thing, and also some kind of root around the image. You're doing fantastically. Let's take one step. This is part of the course as well. Is we're going to take a picture of yours into Lightroom and do a quick edit. So let's do this one, no question. Just 1 second, sorry. Let me just get this through. 1 sec. Excuse my computer. Import. Okay. Right now, Lightroom's going to be a little bit above your shoulders, over your head, I think is the phrase. So I'm not even going to explain too much about what I'm doing, because you'll wait until you get to the Lightroom. Wait until you get to the Lightroom class. But I'm just going to do something here. I think let's just get rid of this over here. We're just basically what we want to do is we want to accentuate his face and add a little bit of contrast, a bit more energy. This is about as good as it gets in camera. But now let's take it to the next stage. So I've got here a simple boost. Okay, and all that did was just rise up the contrast, highlights, shadows, a bit more clarity. I'm going to use my paintbrush now to add to his eyes, just to make them a little more prominent. Okay, and I want to put a slight vignette, which means to darken the edges, just a drop, not too much. Remember, the key to vignette is that no one knows that it's there. Okay, and I don't think I'm going to do much more to it than that. This is the difference. Just again, very subtle, but it does give it that edge. You see the difference? Okay, excellent. Really, you've got the right camera, you've got a good, you're dedicated. I can see that you're going to do fantastically. Stay with the program and invest yourself, and it will be the best investment you can. It's just such a good investment, and you're going to do great. Okay, wishing you all the best. Hatzlacha Rabba.